poor job covering a story in which the Weed for Warriors had brought out a press release to try to expose some corruption going on in Michigan. And we wanted to give Sean with the Weed for Warriors a chance to better explain to us what was happening in Michigan. So I wanted to go ahead and give the remainder of my time and the floor to Sean Kiernan. Sean Kiernan is the CEO of Weed for Warriors, a good friend of mine, and definitely somebody that you want to stay on the good side. So Sean, what do you have today?
I think our bite is overrated. So I just want to come on and clarify and open up to questions because I thought there was a lot that even Gretchen and others highlighted that are legit questions. So let's have that discussion in a public manner of what we did. In 2018, the state of Michigan voters passed Proposal 1. In that Proposal 1, it deemed that $40 million in funding, or $20 million annually at minimum, needs to go to study in clinical trials. So it defines the type versus observational study, clinical trials, the efficacy of marijuana treating medical conditions of U.S. armed forces, and specifically how it can help in veteran suicide, which we believe it's a lifesaver in veteran suicide. What we've seen is $40 million has already been awarded. Has the money even been awarded? It's early. No, the money's been awarded. Future funding was because this was passed in 2008. In 2021, Wayne State got $12.5 million. University of Michigan got $7.4 million. And this year, MAPS, Rick Doblin, got $12.9 or almost $13 million. And Wayne State got another $7 million. The crux of the issue here is the publicly available information out there already states that they have violated the law. They have funded observational studies with this money that are not FDA approved. Wayne State, it's in the public record, okay? We did approach the state, other veterans, other groups. This has been an ongoing dialogue going on. And the Weed for Warriors has come out, and there's two big issues. Not only did they not fund at least one correct study, and they didn't fund an FDA-approved study, that the other issue is accounting. In our questions of how this money's been spent, they don't have answers. Why don't they have answers? Because in research, and this is something MAPS will tell you in any group that does a lot of this research, you have to fill out a monthly accounting detail of how the money was spent so they can make sure it was spent not on overhead for something else or not directly for something else, which is very common in the trickery that goes. It's kind of like Hollywood accounting for actors, right? And they don't even have basic accounting controls in that they can now come back and say, well, this is what it was spent on. So what we've said is, well, we need to go back and you need to ask the grantees to respond to that. What they've come back and told people is, well, we're going to skip doing that and we'll do it going forward. There is an active cover-up of the state of Michigan here. And unfortunately, what we see too often is co-opting of the whistleblowers. And what our fear is, you had a few people who figured this out and they're trying to bring them on board and pay them off. And that's why we went public. They're blocking this discussion. They don't want it public. They pulled down some press releases. What we have here is a straight cover-up. Why did we do a press release? You know, what I found in my history, the media is for profit. And when you have a bunch of poor veterans, their voice can never get elevated. It's kind of like the Black and brown community and all these poor communities. Their narrative does not get covered. Well, our Instagram, our social media, which has been our Bowser's upset. See how mad?
Yeah, there, get him, Bowser.
What we've seen here is our narrative gets squashed by corporate narrative. That's not just cannabis, that's America. So let's be honest with you, right? And so when we sit here and we look at what's going on here, I felt no choice with our social. We just had all our IGs and social media is under attack. Our Facebook has become absolutely useless. We have no platform to speak out anymore. And well, unfortunately, I figured that one out. Let's just do a press release for $1,200, which we're absolutely allowed to do, and use the freedom of speech, the First Amendment in this government country that we fought for. And that's what we used. If you don't like it, we don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Any questions?
I didn't have a problem at all with y'all putting out a press release. I'm just, no offense to Jason Beck, I don't think he was the best messenger because he didn't have many answers.
Well, the text I sent him, I agree with you.
We would like to apologize for doing this story.
I'll apologize for not doing as good of a job, I guess, is what everyone's saying. So
Jason, just apologize.
I had to
love
like
you.
literally beat him down for 10
Oh
minutes
my
before the
Hey,
show to
Jason,
even acknowledge
you need
those
to
words.
apologize to
Apology,
the people you need
apologize.
to apologize for, and that's what the conservatives need to apologize to the 80% of America, the working class, that they don't treat nicely.
Sean, I'm just wondering what your press release said that you reached out to the governor's office. I'm wondering, is there anyone else you reached out to other than the governor's
We
office?
did.
Any
They've
other
absolutely.
agency?
This is going to shock you. They won't even return my emails.
Of course they won't.
And we're doing freedom of information request as we speak. There's a fracturing of the whistleblower community. One of the main persons who started this, great guy, he believes he wants to deal with this behind the scenes. We absolutely don't think that's the right way to deal with it. We believe light is the best disinfectant, and we'll back that up. And that's what what we're doing. And so we have tried to contact him. We are in, just so I know, we are in receipt of internal emails from state to other people admitting this. We have emails. We have other documentation. I'm not going public unless we have this thing signed, sealed, and delivered. There has been an absolute catastrophe. We have a veteran suicide epidemic that's not just veterans. We lost 50,000 Americans to suicide and 100,000 Americans to opiate overdoses this last year. That's American family members that won't be at the Thanksgiving table, the Hanukkah bush, the Christmas tree, the Kwanzaa tree, whatever you want to call it. They're not going to be here this year. And why? Because we have bad American policy pushed by Washington insiders who have sold out America to corporate profits.
I could take another hour asking you questions, John. So I would love to
come
connect
on
with
for
you
2
further,
hours.
and I'm more than happy to. I think I do have some media who would be more than happy to cover this story, and I would love to connect you with.
Hey, Sean,
And just so you
Very
know,
appreciated, Gretchen.
Sean, real quick, Whitmer's on her might be on her way out, correct?
Yeah, vote for Tudor Dixon if you are in Michigan.
So if that happens, do you have a contingency plan of who you're going to follow up with if the whole CRA gets shifted into new leadership?
well, hopefully the new leadership will take a more responsible approach to this. Listen, mistakes are making. I think Gretchen made a good point. It's early on in this business. And to be honest with you, what we saw, she made a comment about, well, can't dispensaries give cannabis now for studies? So Red Bud Roots is giving cannabis isn't, proof parcel that this isn't an FDA approval study, and she would be incorrect. It was widely reported, unfortunately, by our cannabis champions who've done an absolutely horrible job for us, that they had a success because now we could kill the night of monopoly and Red Bud Roots would be able to give flower. Well, unfortunately, the prohibitionists have smarter people at the table, and fellow Cal alum, and I'm embarrassed, Kevin Sabet was smarter than the cannabis community, because the fine print that he get embedded that they didn't tell you about, they said it's only for driving studies. So we've now empowered the prohibitionists to go buy cannabis concentrates, high THC concentrates, and do driving studies. Well, what's that going to show when you give someone who's never had cannabis a concentrate? It's going to show impaired driving, and that's exactly what they want. We are being outflanked at every turn in cannabis legislation because we have people at the table who just simply aren't doing their job.
Sean, I just want to say thank you for everything that you do for the veteran community, for the cannabis industry. You keep fighting. And, if there's one person that I've watched give zero F's as they go through about how they're going to be interpreted just so they could do the right thing, it's you. And I really appreciate that about you, Sean. And thanks for coming on and helping clear this up. And again, like I said, we're sorry we didn't do the story justice. But if that ever happens to anybody out there in the world, reach out to us and let us know, because we would like to give you guys the opportunity to make sure that we are not fully reporting on the story. So thank you, Sean, for your time, and the Weed for Warriors for everything that you do. Keep helping the veterans. Right now, I think the Weed for Warriors is helping like 1,500 to 2,000 veterans every month get free access to cannabis across the state of California. And, they're working on that nationwide as well. So thanks, Sean. We really appreciate you.